Kia ora koutou. Welcome to another edition of the Hot Air Sports Podcast with me, Macca, and my good mate, the couch, Mahona. How are you today, Aaron?
Kia ora, mate. I'm good. I feel like I'm living on a different planet to yesterday. It's honestly, yesterday I felt like I was on a snow planet. It was just absolutely crazy. And today it's perfectly fine. It's like, yeah, beautiful Mars today.
Quite
Yeah,
right.
mate. I'm looking forward to it. We've got a special guest with us today too, don't we?
We do. It must be coming up to or starting baseball season because a very warm welcome to Mr. Angel, Jeremy Elwood. G'day, Jeremy. How are you going?
Hey guys, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, it's it's that time of year again. This is how I know it's the beginning of the baseball season, end of autumn, end of summer.
You get the call. You get the
Yeah,
call.
that's right.
Quite right. Quite right. And we've just been through an interesting 3 or 4 weeks though, haven't we, with the World Baseball Classic?
Oh,
Don't know
Mm.
about you, but I enjoyed it immensely. I mean, we only got the American games on ESPN, but and the Australian games, of course, as well.
mm.
But yeah, it was a really interesting, certainly when it got to the knockout stage.
What'd you
Yeah,
think,
I
Jeremy?
thought it was fascinating. Yeah, it was great. I mean, I actually because of Disney Plus, I managed to catch quite a lot of the games, and yeah, just fascinating, isn't it, that how much more it seemed to mean to a lot of those other countries outside of the US. I actually wasn't going to watch the final because I couldn't bear watching that US team win it, and I was convinced they were going to. But
Yeah,
I checked the score halfway through, and Venezuela were up 2-0. I went, oh, okay, hang on a
yeah.
second, and just to see the explosion of joy at the end, when I think it looked like somebody unexpectedly played the Venezuelan national anthem at the end, and there they were, full throated, giving it everything. And yeah, no, I thought it was great. I think it's a wonderful event, and I really think they need to look at really emphasizing it more.
Yeah. Expanding it even.
Especially with the Olympics coming up. Yeah, that's right. I agree.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah, there was talk during the tournament. I don't know how serious it was that maybe MLB in 4 years' time might take a midsummer break. Um,
Mm.
Obviously a bit longer than the All-Star break, which is only 3 days at the moment.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, take 2 or 3 weeks in the middle of the season and play it then. I think that would be a fantastic
Yeah,
idea.
make it like State of Origin, you know? Put a bit of
Yeah,
representative play in the middle of they have enough room for the All-Star game, don't they? Well, I mean, I know that's just one game but they have a week of stuff, don't they? So I think that'd be absolutely amazing. I mean, expand the sport. I mean, at the moment, the big thing with the World Series, anyone that doesn't like baseball always goes, "Oh, they call it the World Series.
it's
It's
always
only in America."
yeah.
And it's almost a blight on the game, isn't it? It would be fantastic if they had national teams rolling out with national players, and when the little guy beats the big guy, who doesn't love that, man? Who doesn't love
Yeah.
an underdog story?
I mean, the baseball commissioner was talking earlier this year that he wanted to look at an in-season tournament, like the NBA is doing now with that in-season tournament. They
Mm,
already have it. I mean, it exists. It's the World Baseball Classic. It might not happen every year, and let's be honest. I mean, the All-Star game is sort of redundant. It's meaningless.
yeah.
There used to be the home field advantage. I mean, I think there are ways you could make it meaningful again, but
Mm.
it's so much easier, I think, to stick an expanded or a contracted WBC. I mean, maybe you have the pool games happen where they are at the moment before the
Yeah,
beginning of the season, but then you have the playoffs over
Mm.
4 nights. You have the
Yeah.
the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the finals
Be
in the
awesome.
middle of the season. I think it's
Yeah.
great.
Me too.
yeah, and as you say, Venezuela picking up the lollies at the end of it, and it even
Mm,
made TVNZ News,
No.
it
which
did.
yeah, I couldn't
No.
believe it. It was the day after, but yeah, Andrew
Is
Saville was a bit tongue in cheek saying, so they do actually have a proper world tournament rather than just the World Series. But
Yeah, is there a fan of baseball in the TVNZ newsroom? Is there? There must be.
oh, there must be, I think.
Someone's.
Well, look, let's be honest. I do think we still have that thing that when Australia start appearing in tournaments, we pay attention. I
True.
mean, that's how it
Yeah.
happened with the NBL that
Yeah.
eventually led to the Breakers.
Yeah.
It's we do start paying a little bit more attention to it, and Australia didn't embarrass themselves. And then when
No.
you've got teams like Italy and and even Canada giving the US a run for their money, yeah, suddenly people start going, oh, okay, hang on, there's a bit
Yeah.
more going on
A
here.
world sport, a world
Yeah,
sport,
that's right.
and
World
even
game.
though a lot of those Italians are American, it's at least they have
Yeah,
Italian
sure.
names, right?
Yeah,
They have
that's right.
Italian names. They sound Italian. So
And an
Pasquantino and
espresso,
Caglianone.
pizza
and
pie.
they had an espresso machine in the dugout. I thought that was so great. That was so
Yeah,
great.
so good, so good.
Yeah, there was a meme came out just before on the day before the Italy played America, and it
Mm.
was me trying to explain to my mum why I'm sitting down to watch Italian Americans play American Americans
Yeah,
in a world tournament.
Well, it's sort of like me trying to explain to my friends why I watch a rugby league World Cup when there's a guy from Lebanon playing, who plays fullback for the Sydney Roosters, and you're like, yeah, you got to get your players where you get your players. Who cares,
yeah,
mate?
that's right.
Let's start.
When I talk to non-baseball fans about the World Baseball Classic, they say, "Oh, America's just going to win that every time." Well, they've only actually won it once.
I know.
Yeah,
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 exactly.
and I think the last two were it was kind of like what happened with basketball at the Olympics.
Yeah,
Suddenly they started sending their top people,
yeah,
and they didn't win it.
yeah.
And suddenly, both here and in the US, people are paying attention to this now because it's starting to get a little embarrassing.
Yeah, well, Aaron Judge has said he wants to do it again in 4 years
Yeah,
because
Of
he
course
wants
he
to win
does,
it.
because they didn't win.
Yeah,
Next time, maybe they'll pick the right coach. I mean, they only got knocked out in the group stage, didn't they? When they couple of crazy. We talked about that last podcast, didn't we, Macca?
we did.
Just absolutely nuts decisions. Thought he was through already. Played the wrong players. Left the guy on pitching too long, and honestly, I was just loving it. Does anyone support the US in any sport that isn't in that people aren't in the US anymore? I think everyone's back in everyone but the US now, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
even people in the US have got to get their head around the idea of supporting a national team. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
the
True.
the biggest complaint you hear is, oh well, so and so shouldn't play because it means he won't be able to play for my Yankees or Angels or whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have to get over that at some point.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anyway, on to the new MLB season, which started yesterday with a win for the mighty New York Yankees, 7-0 over the San Francisco Giants. And was just mentioning before we
It was on
came
Netflix.
live
Was it on
about Barry
Netflix?
Bonds made a very interesting comment during the half innings. He was in the commentary box. He was explaining that he nearly became a New York Yankee when he became a free agent at the end of his time with Pittsburgh Pirates. He received a phone call from George Steinbrenner at about 11 o'clock in the morning to say, Barry, I'm going to make you the highest paid player in baseball, but I need you to sign the contract before 2 p.m. And Barry Bonds said, oh, hang on a minute, and hung up the phone. And that was the end of Barry Bonds becoming a New York Yankee.
Yeah,
Why did he
and
not want to become the highest paid player? What's
Well,
the
he did. He
story?
just needed time to think about it. Barry Bonds is not the type of guy that you give ultimatums to.
I think that's what that story tells us is that Yankee fans have absolutely zero right to complain about the Dodgers. You hear Yankee fans going, "Oh, look at the evil empire coming in and buying all the
Yeah,
players." You
exactly.
guys did it or tried to do
Exactly.
it
You did
for
it for
nearly 100
decades.
years.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly. Exactly.
100%.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, the former Boston Red Sox GM Larry Lucchino always referred to the Yankees as was it either the Death Star or the Evil Empire, one
Evil
of those two.
Empire.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
evil
Yeah,
empire. That's where it came from.
Evil
yeah.
Empire. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, on to the season before we make our wrong predictions, because I don't think we got any of them right last year.
Probably not. Probably not.
The
So,
Mariners went good. That's it.
what have you made of some of the player signings over the northern winter, Jeremy?
Yeah, well, I mean, for me as an Angels fan, we've signed the All-Star team from 2013. Basically, we signed about 10 guys on 1-year contracts who are all either coming off injury or a couple of terrible years, which was not surprising for the Angels at all. There was I mean, a couple of standouts, I guess. I'm sort of interested in who didn't sign. I mean, it's fascinating to me that someone like Lucas Giolito is still on the market.
Mm.
I mean, who had a pretty good, not outstanding, but pretty good year with Boston last year.
Mm.
Um, and I do think there's a little bit of that. We've got the competitive balance as the CBA agreement is up for negotiation at the end of the season. It didn't seem to be as obvious as we thought it was going to be, but some teams are just being a little careful about their multi-year contracts.
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious exception was Kyle Tucker signing with the Dodgers, who didn't need him and just absolutely just buying up. It's like Manchester United in the
Yeah.
early 2000s,
Chelsea,
just buying
Chelsea.
everybody.
Under
Yeah.
Abramovich, yeah.
Yeah, possibly the most surprising thing that happened for me was Bo Bichette, not Bichette going to the Mets, but the fact that Toronto let him go. I was
Mm.
Yeah.
really surprised at that. That was the most shocking move to me. So, yeah, interesting off season. Not for my team. We're just in the middle of nowhere at the moment, and there is an alternate universe where everybody gets healthy and returns to form, but I'm not banking on it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're a real fan, mate. You're a real fan.
Yeah,
You stick
I'm
with your
still
team.
there.
That's
I'm
what you
still there.
do. That's what you
That's
do.
right.
You stick with your team to death. To death.
Well, we're all fingers crossed. We all think there are signs that it looks like, Adi Marino, our owner, might be gearing up for a sale just with the way things have fallen. But that involves logic and good decision making. And that's not something that's been a strength of the Angels for the last 10 years. So
What
we'll
about
see.
Mike Trout, mate? What's he going to do this year? What's he going to do?
Is he
Well,
going to stay fit?
Yeah.
yeah, he's looking healthy. I mean, there's been a lot spoken about the fact that he's back to his elite sprint speed, 30 feet per second or
Mm.
something. He stole a base. So I've got the opening day game on in the background, actually. He's
Mm.
already stolen the base. He only stole two last year.
That's
Um,
good signs. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, even if he stays, like his numbers weren't awful last year, they were just
No.
not good by his standards. So,
Yeah. Well,
but on the other hand, he is what, 34, 35.
it's
He's been
crazy
through
to
the
think that,
ringer.
isn't it? It's
It's
crazy to
nuts,
think
isn't
the
it?
guy is
Yeah,
34. My God, we're just
yeah.
That's
mind
that's
blowing.
really sort of, one of the, they talk about players in their prime, and really baseball players are sort of from about 28 to 35,
Mm.
36, aren't they?
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been maybe even becoming a little lower now with position players.
Mm.
Pitchers tend to come into their pride a little later. I mean, that's why you've got someone like Verlander and Scherzer still signing contracts
Yeah.
into their 40s.
Yeah.
They're not who they used to be, but they can still pitch.
Play up, play up.
Yeah, Trout. I mean, I think again, you were talking about team loyalty just before, but I
Yeah.
mean, there's a guy. He signed his contract. He's got a no trade clause, but he hasn't tried to trigger it. I think he's determined to. There'll be a statue of him outside Angel Stadium one
I
way or
hope
the
so.
other.
I
But if
hope
they can get him to the playoffs before the end of that contract, they've got another 4 years. Yeah,
I
we'll
reckon
see.
he's fielded calls from the Yankees before too, Macca, and he's turned them down. I mean,
Yeah,
that's one guy that I will turn on the TV to watch. I just love
yeah.
watching that guy swing a bat. It's just a beautiful thing to see. He just looks so. He is the epitome of the natural, isn't he? He just looks so effortless. Everything he does
He's the
out.
all he's the
Yeah,
all American kid, yeah.
he
And when you
is.
see him, I mean, I've been to a few games and been lucky enough to sit quite close. He's enormous. I mean, the
Yeah,
guy is an
Oh, he's a
absolute
massive guy, yeah.
unit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, fingers crossed. But that's the problem with being an Angels fan. It's fingers crossed all the time. It's a lot of stuff has to go right. The two I would keep an eye on from the Angels is Zach Neto, our shortstop, and Jose Soriano, who's pitching opening day. I think those two both have the potential to be all stars. But yeah, I mean, elsewhere in the league, how are you guys feeling?
Yeah. What about you, Ian? As far as
Yeah, I
trades?
mean, there's been a lot of talk about the Yankees just running it back, which they
Mm,
pretty much have. They've virtually got the same roster that they did last year. They re-signed Cody Bellinger, of course, to a 5-year deal, which I was absolutely over the moon about. He's a fantastic player, and just fits so well into Yankee Stadium. The only other real new players we've signed are bullpen and one starter in Ryan Weathers from the Marlins, who Not a bad spring. Didn't go so well in the last couple of games, but the I think the last start against the Cubs, he actually did pitch pretty well, 5 innings, and only gave up a couple of hits. So hopefully he'll be good. Yankees operating with a 4-man rotation at the moment. They've sent Luis Hill down to the AAA, and also a couple of interesting demotions to AAA too, with Jason Dominguez, who played a lot last year, but they want him to really focus on his right-handed hitting and also his fielding. He made a couple of errors in the last couple of last few games in spring training, so they really want him to focus on getting his fielding right. He came out of the international signing a few years ago, and he was, nicknamed the Martian because he was just otherworldly. But I think
Yeah.
he's certainly come back a wee bit from there, and it remains to be seen whether they keep him or end up using him as trade bait halfway through the year. So we'll keep an eye on that one.
It's tough being a prospect in the Yankees system, right? I mean, the Angels have got Oswald Peraza starting at second base, at least to start the season. And there's a guy who was hyped, to the moon and back when he was a Yankees
Yeah.
prospect and didn't deliver. And there's just no leash in New York, whether that be a team philosophy or the media. They have to cut guys or send them down. And it's a tough place to be a young player.
I think one of the most interesting signings that the Yankees made, or re-signings, was Trent Grisham, and this happened quite
Mm.
early on in the off season. A lot of people have said they've wasted 22 million on Trent Grisham because he was only paid 5 million last year, but he accepted the qualifying offer, which nobody generally does.
Yeah.
And I think they didn't expect him to agree to it, but I guess when you're only being paid 5 million and suddenly you've got an offer in front of you for 1 year for 22 million, you're probably going to snap it up, aren't you?
Well, interesting that I think 6 players accepted the qualifying offer this year, which
Mm,
was more than ever before. And part of that, I think, is that no one's quite sure what's going to happen next season, whether
yeah.
whether the season's going to start on time or at all. There is a potential lockout or a strike looming, and so for someone like Gresham, the idea of 22 million guaranteed because I might not play next year, yes, please, I'll take that. And we
Exactly. I
saw it
think
with a few
the
others.
other interesting signing for the Yankees, who they picked up during spring training, was Randall Grichuk. He was a superstar in the making, wasn't he, when he first came up with the Cardinals? And
Well, the fascinating fun fact about Randall Grichuk, because we had him in the Angels a couple of years, he was the guy picked one spot ahead of Mike Trout in the draft.
Whoa.
mm,
Um, so at one point we had both of them with the Angels, but yeah, I mean that's a tough fall as well. He was the guy picked ahead of Trout, and then never quite came through. But I like Grichuk. I think he's a really interesting player, and I still think he's got a lot to offer.
yeah. Just taking a look at some of the other teams in the AL East, the Blue Jays have made some interesting signings. Dylan Cease from the
Mm,
San Diego Padres, they've picked him up. Um, an unknown, obviously, because he's been playing in Japan, is Kazuma Okamoto. I don't know if you've heard
mm,
anything about him, but they've also lost some players too. Bo Bichette, as you mentioned earlier on, has gone to the Mets. Chris Bassett, they didn't re-sign him. He's now pitching for the Orioles, so in the same division. So they look as though they've strengthened in some areas, but have got a bit weaker. And of course, the evergreen Max Scherzer is back for another 1 year, with the Mets still
He must be
paying
I
100.
something like three-quarters of his salary.
How old is he?
I I think he's 42. I
Oh,
think.
fuck.
I actually think Okamoto may be one of the quiet, really good signings of this winter. I was really hoping the Angels were going to look at him. Murakami got all of the big press and ended up bizarrely going to the White Sox. But I think Okamoto is going to be he's more of a bat on ball guy. I think he'll replace as much as you can replace Bo Bichette. I think he has the potential to do it. And Cody Ponce was the other signing. He's a guy who has had a really good couple of years in Korea, I believe, rather than Japan. And the Blue Jays picked him up as sort of it's been billed as a reclamation project, but he's been pitching incredibly solidly in the Korean leagues, and I think could be a real surprise. I think it's going to be a really tight division.
Oh, absolutely. And the Orioles have made some
Mm.
big signings too with Pete Alonso. It was really, I mean, I know he's a first baseman, but really out of left field.
He's got the
Yeah, and
Mets.
also, yeah, and speaking of left field, they also traded for Taylor Ward. I mean, who has been a 30 home run guy the last couple of years. So between him and Alonso, they've put a lot of pop into that lineup. It's there was obviously something wrong between Pete Alonso and the Mets for years. I mean, something wasn't quite clicking there. So I wasn't again not surprised to see him finally leave the Mets. Maybe a little surprised that he went to Baltimore, but they've got a bit of catch up to do in that division.
Yeah, they do. But they're not really a side that splashes the cash that often, are they?
Yeah, no, they haven't been. I mean, they were a 100-win team a couple of years ago, and then did nothing, and blew their chance at with. They had a bunch of young talent all coming up. They held on to all of them, and only about half of them worked out. And in a division with the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, I would argue have potentially the best pitching rotation in baseball, with a couple of the signings they made. So yeah, they needed to splash some money. They always do it in slightly odd ways. So yeah, they're a bit of a wild card team, and I mean that both literally and figuratively.
Yeah, have you say, as you say, the Red Sox have been very busy. They've picked up Ranger Suarez in a 5-year deal. Wilson Contreras, that's an interesting one. They're calling him first base, but he's also a pretty good catcher too.
Yeah, he kind of lost his catching position when he was with the Cardinals. He basically got demoted.
Yeah.
So yeah, be interesting to see. I'm not quite sure who the Sox have at catcher, who they're starting. So yeah, I mean, he'll fit into that lineup again. He'll provide some pop when they need it.
Yep, Sonny Gray, Johan Oviedo. Who's the other pitcher they've picked up? Tommy Canley's signed for another minor league deal. Whether he'll actually play in the majors is interesting. But they've lost Alex Bregman, who's shifted over to Chicago. So they will miss him at third base.
Where's he gone?
He's gone to the Cubs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so AL East, that's anybody's pick in that one. I haven't talked about the Rays because they generally don't do much in the off season apart from get rid of players. And it's not really been much different.
So they'll probably win the division.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever you underplay the Rays, I mean, they're back in an actual stadium. They're back at the Trop. So there's a feel good story there at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's unrealistic that they're actually going to compete with. There's 4 potential powerhouses in that division. If things fall right, it's probably the toughest division in the game.
Yep. Now, moving over to the other side of the country, let's have a look at Aaron's Mariners.
Yeah, man.
They made some interesting signings. Josh Naylor, they've re-signed the first base on a 5-year deal.
Yep.
They picked up Brendan Donovan in a 3-team trade with the Cardinals and the Rays. He's a really underrated player, Brendan Donovan. I like the way he plays.
Yep.
And he can play multiple positions in the infield too.
Yep. Yeah. He's versatile, all right. And what I like best about us, though, is that we've just held on to what we had, and we've got some real good pitching prospects coming through. We've got lots of depth in that position, and obviously pitches is what wins your games. I just hope we don't come up against the Blue Jays again. I'd rather come up against the Yankees in the playoffs. Thanks very much. Mate, we were 8 wins away. I mean, 8 outs away from making our first World Series, and this is the year that they do it, but that's what's got me scared, almost, if you understand what I'm saying. We've got a great team. We almost got there last year. Expectations are high, and we've only made the playoffs, I think, once in our history, 2 times in a row, 2 years in a row. You know, if we do it, we could start building a dynasty. You know, we really could. We're building sensibly. We're playing great baseball. But this is where I start worrying. Any team that I support, you know, this is what happens. Your hopes get expectations start exploding, and the next thing you know, we lose our first few games. But I think who we got first up? The Cleveland later on today. I think that game's going on later on this afternoon. So I think that'll be a
Guardians, yeah.
good season, a good series to start with us. Although they're looking pretty good too. I don't know,
My
mate. It's just the expectation. What do you expect at the beginning of the season? All the hopes are there, and then if you lose your first few games, mate, there's only 160 to recover from, isn't there? So it's just such a long season.
There
Um,
always seems to be a bit of a question mark about something in the Mariners clubhouse. Like
Absolutely.
during the WBC, there were these two moments where catcher Cal Raleigh, who
Yep.
Raleigh,
Who's
who should have
who's
been the
still with
MVP
us?
last year,
Yep. Absolutely. What a
but he
hitter.
wouldn't shake hands with his own teammates
No.
on a couple of occasions during the WBC. Now that might just be gamesmanship, but
Trump voter,
obviously
maybe. Who
there
knows?
always seems to be something a bit odd in the Mariners
Mm.
clubhouse, because I agree. I think Brendan Donovan was the missing piece that they probably
Absolutely.
needed,
Could
and
be. Could be. And
should put them over the top.
it could be the city. It could be the people. It could be that, they're different out there in Washington. They're sort of
Yeah,
tucked away in the corner, leafy suburbs,
you'd think
rains a
it'd be
lot.
more relaxed, but it
No,
always
you
seems a
would.
bit
You would.
aggressive over in Seattle. Yeah,
Exactly.
I
But
think they
yeah,
will. There's a couple of players I think they will miss though. Losing Jorge Polanco, who's
yeah,
gone to the Mets,
yeah,
and also Eugenio Suarez,
yeah,
who really only he did all his damage for the Diamondbacks before he got traded to the Mariners halfway through the
yeah.
year, and didn't do a heck of a lot for the Mariners in the regular season, but came alive in the playoffs. So
Mm.
yeah, I
I
think
think
that's a couple of players that they'll miss.
it felt like they had to flip a coin between Naylor and Suarez,
Yeah,
and I think Naylor was the right choice. I mean,
yep,
he feels like much more of a natural fit in Seattle.
yep,
So no, I think, I mean, obviously same division as the Angels. I think they're hands down the favorite to win that division.
yep.
If we're talking about the AL West, I think the who knows with the Rangers. I mean, they're like anybody. If their pitching is fit and healthy, they could be unstoppable, but their offense fell off a cliff last year.
Mm.
The A's are going to be a lot of fun to watch. I mean, the West Sacramento A's, or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, what are they called?
Um, well, they're just called the Athletics at the moment, which is ridiculous.
Okay.
Call them the West. They play in West Sacramento. That's where they're
West
from.
Sacramento.
Yeah, but
Nice.
they're going to be a lot of fun to watch. They got a lot of young superstars. They had the Rookie of the Year and the runner-up Rookie of the Year last year.
Wow.
But they don't have any pitching. So I don't think, I mean, they're not going to challenge, even if they do sneak in as a wild card, they're not going to be a challenge in the
Mm.
playoffs. And Houston, I've given up writing Houston off. Yeah, you always think Houston are over, and then suddenly they come out of nowhere and win the division by 20 games. But yeah, and you'll notice I'm not putting the Angels anywhere in contention in the AL West at all.
Don't bother.
I mean, I live in hope, but my
Yeah,
heart's in reality. Yeah.
yeah. Ian, who you backing? I mean, you're not backing the Mariners, eh? Don't get on the Mariners, Mecca. Honestly,
Yeah,
because if you're on the Mariners, we're
I might
doomed.
save my prediction until the end of the show, but
Okay,
Sure.
good man.
because I want to look at a I only really want to look at a couple of sides in the central area.
Yeah.
One is Detroit.
Mm.
They're going to have a good year this year. I think their pitching is absolutely stacked. I would say they've probably got the best rotation in baseball at the moment. They've signed Framber Valdez from Houston Astros on a 3-year deal. Verlander's back from in the club that he started. Of course, we all know about Tarek Skubal and what he can do, and they've also got Flaherty there as well. Don't ask me who the fifth pitcher is, but I guess it probably doesn't really matter when you got those four.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a great rotation, and there was a lot of talk in the off season about, where are they going to trade Scooble? I mean, if the wheels fall off, they still could halfway through the year. But I think they added a couple of pieces. They're not coming to my mind straight away. They added a couple of interesting offensive pieces as well. No, I think the Tigers, they disappointed. They were running the field last year, and
Yeah.
then just fell off right at the end. The last month was a disaster for them.
Mm.
And I think the Tigers are the team to beat in that Central Division.
Yeah, Alex Cobb's the other pitcher that
Yeah,
they picked up. But Gleyber Torres, he was another one that accepted the qualifying offer, the former
yeah,
Yankee, and Kenley Jansen, who's
yeah. They
getting
got
on in age but can still throw the baseball pretty well. So,
well. They took
yeah,
Jansen, and they also got Kyle Finnegan. So I
yes,
mean, they've got two
Excellent.
potentially elite closers. So yeah,
yep. The other side I want to look at is the Chicago Cubs, if I can find them
Mhm.
on my list here.
Cubbies.
The Cubbies, they have
Yep.
they've strengthened again and not really lost too many. They obviously picked up Alex Bregman, Edward Cabrera. They picked up the left armour in a trade with the Marlins. Um, Shota Imanaga, another one who accepted the qualifying offer. Phil Maton, he'll be good in the bullpen. Shelby Miller, that's a name we haven't heard of for a few years. He was going to be an absolute phenom when he first broke in.
And of course,
And
Alex
they've
Bregman.
also, yeah,
Alex Bregman, of course, and
Alex,
they got smashed. They got absolutely smashed, didn't they? 10-4.
yes, but
First
they
game.
have lost Kyle Tucker. Andrew Pittridge has gone to the Orioles, and the other name in there that I was looking at was Carlos Santana, who has gone to the
He's a great
D-backs.
guitarist as well, Carlos Santana, isn't he?
Very
Great
good.
guitarist.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Multifaceted player, that guy. Yeah.
Quite right, quite right. So, yeah, I'm expecting big things from the Cubs this year. They've just re-signed Pete Crow-Armstrong to a 6-year deal.
Five
I
or
think it
six,
was
yeah.
5 or 6 year deal. So I really like watching Pete Crow-Armstrong. He's magnificent in the outfield and can really clear the fences with regular monotony at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, I mean the other team that I mean we'll probably get to these predictions, but if I had to pick a sneaky contender in that division, it would be Pittsburgh. I think the Pirates. I mean they've got the pitching. They've got although Paul Skeens got knocked about on
He
opening day by
did.
the Mets,
He did,
but
yeah.
that won't. I mean that won't last. You've got Skeens. They've got good young pitching, and I think they added enough reasonable bats. They added Ryan O'Hearn, and they've put enough of an offense behind him. But more importantly, if they're still floating around contention at the trade deadline, they've got everything they need to swing for another big bat. And they've also got Connor Griffin, the number one prospect in baseball,
Yeah.
waiting in the wings. I mean, if he comes up and is even 50% of what people have hyped him to be, they could be a quiet team to watch in the
Yeah.
Central.
Quite
Yeah,
an
they'll score
outcry
runs.
from quite an outcry from Pirates fans that he's not starting the season in the majors. All the talk about playing around with service time and all that's coming back into the conversation. Because he had a pretty good spring, didn't he?
He had a great spring. I mean, the service time thing is bizarre, isn't it? And I think they've got until April the 9th. If they bring him up before that
Yeah.
and he makes a run at Rookie of the Year, then they can pick up an extra draft pick. So that's the date to keep an eye on, I think, April the 9th.
What about the
Yep.
Cardinals, Mecca? What about the Cardinals? They're always there or thereabouts, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're going to struggle this year.
Yeah.
They've
Oh,
really
to
lost
the
more than they've picked up.
Well, to their credit, I think the Cardinals are undertaking a total rebuild,
Yeah.
which is not something you see teams do very often
No.
these days.
But
And
they're
I
that sort
can't.
of franchise, aren't they? They're that sort
I
of
admire it.
franchise.
Yeah,
Yeah. They rip it all down and start again.
they got rid
Yep.
of everybody
Yeah,
basically.
they did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Wilson Contreras, Sonny Gray, Nolan Arenado, Brendan Donovan, Miles Michaelis, and John
Yeah.
King.
It's
yeah.
crazy the amount of talent out the door.
So quite
That's a
frankly,
hell.
I think they're going to be awful this year, but it's almost deliberate. So yeah,
Yeah.
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 Yep. I think another sleeper in the Central could be Kansas City.
Mm.
They seem to just go about their business quietly and don't make too much noise about it.
Yeah, a lot of Royals players made a lot of noise in the World Baseball Classic. So
Yeah, yeah,
if they can carry that over, Caglione was good. Bobby Witt Jr. obviously, potential MVP candidate every year. No, the Royals could be sneaky good as well.
yep. Moving out to the West, the D-backs have also gone about their business fairly quietly and picked up. Well, they've re-signed their top two pitchers, Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly. They have also picked up Nolan Arenado in a trade with the
Wow.
Cardinals, so he'll be a help to them.
Definitely.
And Michael Soroka, another phenom that when he came up was going to be the next best thing, but hasn't had the greatest of the last couple of years. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes at Chase Field, and also the great guitarist Carlos Santana
Another one.
is signed. Yeah, no, it's same one.
Oh, same one.
And
Okay, thank you.
and one thing nobody seems to keep kind of be mentioning is the fact is, I mean, there is a possibility. I don't know how strong a possibility, but they could get Coolton Burns back. at some point during the year.
Yes,
He
absolutely.
was their big signing from 2 off seasons ago, required surgery, but yeah, I mean he could be in the mix if they are still hanging around towards the end of the season. So yeah,
And they've got the Dodgers first up today, don't they?
I
So
believe so.
it'd be a
Yeah,
great
Yes,
start to the
yeah,
season if the Diamondbacks could pull off a couple of wins there.
yeah,
Be nice for
yeah.
everyone.
Well, good segue onto
Yeah.
the
yeah,
Dodgers. Obviously, the big pickups, Kyle Tucker and Edwin Diaz. They've been looking for a decent closer. I think it's been probably their weakest spot for the last few years, but generally
yeah.
by the time it gets to the close of the games, they've already won. Um, but they've really shored up that bullpen with Edwin Diaz. I think Mets fans are pretty gutted that he's left there, but
Yeah.
money speaks, as we know. Kyle Tucker, 4-year deal, $240 million.
I mean, that is
Just
the
crazy.
overpay of the year. I mean,
Oh,
Tucker is just simply not worth that. I mean, he's a good player, but he's not Soto, and he's not Otani, and he's not Guerrero Jr.
yeah.
He was the biggest name on the free agent market, and the Dodgers stepped in and basically single handedly guaranteed that there will be a lockout next year. Just by doing that. If I was a Dodgers fan, though, I'd be worried about the pitching. Um, I mean, Snell's starting the year on the injured list. I know
Mm.
the Dodgers technique the last couple of World Series has been not to worry about that. They want their top pitchers ready for the playoffs. So they don't really care what happens in the regular season.
Mm.
But I watched the last exhibition game against the Angels. Roki Sasaki was awful. I mean, just awful. He walked the first 5 or 6 batters that he faced, and it was 4-0 when they pulled him from the game without an out. So yeah, I mean, I'm clutching at straws here potentially. Getting a third World Series is always a tough thing to do. But if
Yeah.
I was a Dodgers fan, I would have some concerns about the rotation.
One of their re-signings hasn't worked out quite so well. Miguel Rojas has
Mm.
found himself on the 80-day suspension list for
Naughty things.
performance-enhancing drugs. So that's a bit of money that they've wasted on him. A lot of the
Oh,
people
I
thought
haven't
it was
caught that.
Josh Rojas, but no, it wasn't Josh Rojas. It was Miguel Rojas.
Mm.
So yeah,
Oh, interesting. I
one
mean,
re-signing.
yeah,
Yep.
put him in the list with Jurickson Profar over in Atlanta, who's
Yeah.
out for a second year with PED suspensions.
Yep. Quick look at the Giants, who, as I mentioned, got beaten by the Yankees yesterday. They look strong. They've got a new manager who's come straight out of the college system. I think probably he's the biggest talking point around the Giants. Be interesting to see how he goes.
Yeah, well, he didn't go particularly well in his first game, but no, I mean that has been the big talking point for the Giants. Almost to their off-season moves have been reasonably quiet aside from that. But
Mm,
yeah, a lot of talk about whether he'll be able to transition from coaching college, which is about a 64, 65 game season to
yeah.
162. It's a big leap to make, but
Mm.
yeah, we'll see.
Yep, they've got quite a good top of the order, and I think the Yankees did well to keep them quiet yesterday with Luis Ariz. Rafael Devers is obviously in there as well, and
Yeah, Adames.
Matt Chapman
Yep.
and
Yeah,
Willie Adames. Who,
they do. They've got some good hitting.
yes,
Who pitched for you
thankfully
yesterday, Macca? Who pitched for the Yankees yesterday?
Max Fried.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so and of course we'll be looking forward to getting Garrett Cole back, who's already started
Yeah.
Mm.
pitching in games. Of course, the Cy Young winner from 2024, he's back. They're talking early May, but the way he's been progressing, I think he could be back before the end of April. And Carlos Rodon is due back
He'll be coming
sometime
back as well. Yeah.
late May, early June, they're talking about. So it's going to be a hell of a rotation when both of those come back with Will Warren, who pitched really well in spring training. I'm really looking forward to watching him pitch over the
Yeah.
weekend. And
I mean,
also,
you have to be happy too that they beat the Giants with no production from Judge yesterday. And I
Oh,
don't mean that as an
mm.
insult. It's the fact that I think a very viable concern for the Yankees has been how reliant they've been on
Oh,
Aaron
last
Judge.
year
So,
for sure.
oh,
mm,
Yeah.
and that was certainly the feeling going into this year that if he even a brief injury to Judge could completely change the season for the
Yeah.
Yankees. But it's only one game, but it was a good result for you.
I think
yes,
your
there were a
main
lot of
concern with the Yankees, though, at Macca, isn't it? I mean, you're always moaning about it as your management. I mean, you're bloody, you are your manager.
yeah,
What's he doing?
yeah. Aaron Boone, he's just, he's
He
great
just
one week, but then he just makes some really bizarre
put
calls
Macca in
sometimes.
charge.
Yeah.
Put him in charge.
Oh no, it's just it's crazy. I was just trying to look for our predictions from last year,
Oh
but
God.
I
All
can't
right.
find them.
Oh,
So it's
I think they've
probably
been consigned to the bin, haven't
There's
they?
a there's a
probably
lot of first-time managers this year. I mean, I think that's an interesting point
there
too.
is,
Is
yeah.
there are eight or nine, including the Angels, have got Kurt Suzuki, the former catcher,
Mm.
first year manager on a 1 year deal. So that's a real vote of confidence. But I've liked what I've seen so far. I mean, he only stopped playing maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, he was on the roster with Mike Trout, so he knows a few of these guys well. And then, yeah, around baseball, you've got a bunch of new managers. So, yeah, new blood always kind of shakes things up a little bit. So
Mhm.
that'll be interesting.
Mm.
Yes, I noticed pre-game yesterday, Bruce Bochy hanging around the
Mm.
dugout for the Giants, and of course their new GM, Buster Posey,
Yeah, and then
Great.
obviously,
who's won 3 World Series
With them. Yeah.
rings with the
with them.
Giants.
Catcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, great player.
So yes, lots of change both in the managerial and also front office has been
Yeah.
a bit of a
Is Barry
merry-go-round
Bonds
as
in the
well.
front office? Hey?
No,
Was...
I am
This
Hmm. Yeah.
just
Can't
getting
make the
off
Hall of Fame either. Yeah.
off topic a wee bit. Talking about Barry Bonds,
Yeah.
I really, as much as I hate the whole steroid
Yeah.
argument, I still think
Just be done with
your
it.
leading home run hitter should be in the Hall of Fame.
So should Pete Rose, though. I mean,
look, I honestly don't understand why they can't have a room in the Hall of Fame with asterisks next to the names.
yeah.
Just call it the Hall of Infamy. Just go.
Exactly.
These are the guys who are in the Hall of Fame.
There's a little
but-
door on the side.
Yeah. I mean,
My
the thing with
my argument for the steroid users is when they were using them, apart from the odd case, wasn't illegal.
Yeah.
Well, that's the essential difference between Bonds and Alex Rodriguez, for example.
Yeah.
Is Rodriguez was using them when they had been outright banned. They were testing for them. Bonds, I mean, the reason those guys ended up getting caught is because there was no testing, and suddenly there was testing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel the same way about Maguire and
Yep.
to a slightly lesser
Same.
degree Sosa.
Yep.
Um,
All of them.
Rose is an interesting case. I mean,
Rose
yeah. The more you get into the Pete Rose case, the less appealing it becomes.
But
if you go
back with the behaviour of some of the guys in the Hall of Fame before him, they're just as bad. And if we go back to those other guys, I mean, look, the pitchers that were throwing against them were on steroids as well. So I mean, the guys throwing at them were just as pumped up as them. So I just think, look, it was the era. It was the era. I don't think, it's just sort of cutting out 20 or 30 years of history. And when you've got the way that they respect and worship history in baseball with their Hall of Fame, and they hold their players up like that, I just think it's stupid for taking out players that obviously should be there. Yeah. Everyone knows who they are. So,
and I agree. I mean, I think most museums, non-sports museums, you've got to show both sides. I mean, you can't have a World War II. You can't have a World War II exhibit without mentioning who was on the other side.
Exactly.
And exactly, yeah. Not that I'm comparing PEDUs to the Holocaust, but no.
There's the tag for the podcast, there's right there.
Yeah. Right. No, I really do think. There can be, welcome to the Hall of Fame, but we're going to put the whole story up. I mean, that makes it even more interesting in a way to go visit.
Yeah. Another argument is those balls aren't that big, and you've got a round bat.
Yeah.
So steroids or not, if you can hit,
you're still going to hit
a ball like this out of the park 756 times, you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I actually think too. I mean, one of the real overriding argument for me is, I mean, even by the most cynical of options, Bonds started taking steroids in about 2001.
Yeah, it was different before that,
but
wasn't he?
Prior to that, he was already a Hall of Famer before he left Pittsburgh. Yeah. I mean, the guy was already a first ballot Hall of Famer. So maybe you have to do that. Maybe you cut his records off partway through, but he still deserves to be there.
Yeah, agree.
Right, prediction time.
Oh fuck! Oh God!
Here we go.
Do this to us with the American League West, Jeremy's team division.
Yeah.
I want a a division winner and a wild card.
Okay, you start, Jeremy.
I grudgingly have to think. I think the Mariners will win the division.
So wait.
Yeah, and the wild card. Look, I mean, I'm gonna smoke the hopium here. As one
Go,
of my
boy.
Angels fans go.
Go on.
The Angels have the potential, if a lot of things falls right, to be surprising and to sneak into a wild card. More realistically, if there was going to be a surprise wild card, I think it could be the A's.
Yeah, that's what I love about baseball, though, is that
Oh yeah.
even the outsiders can just have a hell of a season, especially a half season, give you that hope, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the easy answer would be Houston and or Texas, either of
Houston.
the Texas teams, but I'm going to go Mariners take the division and the A's sneak in on the wild
Yeah,
card.
I'll go Mariners and Stros. I mean, I think that's the sensible call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll make it a triumvirate and go for the Mariners as well. But I think the Texas Rangers might surprise a few people.
Nice.
They'll have Jacob DeGrom hopefully for a whole season.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. So yeah, Mariners to win the division.
We all
with
picked
the
the same,
wild
so they're
card
bound to do
being
shit.
Rangers.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Yeah,
Probably
maybe
last.
that's just my way of cursing Seattle. Yeah.
American
You
League
bastards.
Central. American League Central.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
You start, mate.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I'm actually going to pick the Tigers. I'm going to pick the Tigers to take the division, and I'm going to pick the Royals to sneak in as the wild card in there.
Snap.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So you're going Tigers. You're both going the Tigers and the Royals.
Tigers and Royals.
Okay, I'm gonna go from left field then. I'm gonna go the Guardians because I think they've got I think I really like what they've done this year, and I just think that they could peak out there. I mean, that's probably more of a wild card pick than anything. And then I'll go the Twins. We haven't even talked about the Twins.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, they're just out there. I'll just sort of go on. I just can't pick. I can't pick the Tigers. I can't pick the Royals. Can't pick those teams. And the White Sox are always pants. So no, go the Twins. Go the Twins.
Wow, I think the Twins are really caught in between trying to rebuild and trying
They
to
are.
compete. I mean, they're a bit like the Angels in that they just won't commit to a rebuild. But
Yeah.
so brave call. I'll take
Yeah.
it. I'll be fascinated.
The as we've already talked about, the toughest division in baseball, the American League East.
Yeah.
I'll start the ball rolling.
I think we know.
Yeah, I am gonna go the Yankees. I just think, despite some fans calling it just running back last year's roster, I think last year's roster was pretty good, and they did win the most equal games in the American League last year with 94. And they won 94 the year before too, with again largely the same roster. So I'm going to pick the Yankees. Second place. Toss up between three teams, but I think the Blue Jays are probably just going to have a slight edge over the Red Sox and the Orioles. And yeah, the Rays, I think, will be a distant fifth.
Yeah, I agree. I'll go for the Red Sox first, though. I think the Red Sox will have a year. I've got a feeling about them. I love what they've done with their hitting, and I just think the Red Sox. It's the Red Sox year. Sorry, Macca. And for my outsider there, the Yankees are definitely an outsider. Yeah, they'll do okay. They might come second. Yeah, it'll be the Blue Jays or the Yankees for second. Yeah, I can't really see the Rays coming anywhere. So, yeah, you might squeak in there, Macca. Might squeak in there. Hopefully, you'll do better in the playoffs than the regular season because you haven't had any problem in the regular season, have you? Really?
No, not at all.
No?
Before we get yours, Jeremy, I just mentioning the Red Sox here. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Roman Anthony does this year. He had a great World Baseball Classic, and I really think he could do some damage, especially at Fenway Park.
Yeah, well, I'm going to buck the trend slightly, and I think both the Blue Jays and the Red Sox are going to be better than the Yankees this year.
Hot take.
I think the Blue Jays. I think people are underestimating them. I mean, they've lost a couple of.
It's
key
the Bo
players.
Bichette thing for me. I just think
Bo Bichette thing is a real hangover.
Yeah.
But I think Okamoto is going to replace him, and I think Cease and Ponce are going to help bolster that rotation. So I think I think they're hungry for it too. I think losing that Game 7 last year has lit a fire under that team. So Blue Jays to win the division, and I see the Red Sox. I do feel could have a great year, but it's the Red Sox. They could also just completely implode.
Yeah, they could.
But I think the Red Sox have the best pitching rotation in baseball, and I think if Roman Anthony steps up and a couple of their other players come right, they could be a really surprise wild card.
Yeah.
I think the Orioles and the Yankees are both going to be in the race until the last day of the season. But when it all shakes out, I'll go Blue Jays and Red Sox.
Yeah, it's a hell of a division, isn't it? It's a hell of a
It
division.
is, yeah. Well, it just shows. I mean, the previous divisions we've talked about, we pretty much agreed on, but this is the first one where we've all gone for completely different picks. Staying in the East National League, this is another tough one. I think there's probably 2 or 3 teams that that could take this one out.
We haven't talked about the Braves, have we? You tell us about the Braves, Jeremy. I mean, what sort of business have they done? And they're always around.
I mean, already it's only the opening day of the season, and about half the Braves roster is either suspended or on the injured list.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had such bad luck with injuries, and it's just continued. I mean, I think they've got 6 pitchers on the IL at the moment. I think the Phillies, they're always a threat, but they may have just left it. I mean, there's a team that stood pat. I think they're relying a lot on a lot of guys in their 30s now. I think eventually the Mets are going to get it right.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't keep throwing that much money at a team and not break through at some point.
They are the Chelsea FC. They are.
Yeah. So I think this is the year.
Yeah.
I think this is the year that the Mets actually do step up. I think they're going to win that division. And I don't know. I'm not confident in this, but I'm going to say the Phillies take second place there.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Mets. I think the Mets will stand. I think they, like you said, they just got too much talent to fail. I just can't see them. And then the Braves. I just think the Braves they're just a solid organization, and they're just always there or thereabouts. So.
Yeah, Mets I think they've been incredibly unlucky recently.
Yep, they have with a lot of things. So,
I'm probably with Jeremy on this one. I think Mets and Phillies are going to do the job. I just think the Braves, as Jeremy said, have got too many players out at the moment. And
it's a long season, though. They'll come back second half of the season.
We haven't talked too much about the Marlins, but there's not really a lot to talk about with the Marlins. And also the Nationals, they are going to struggle again this year, though. On a complete rebuild as well.
They're rebuilding again. Yeah, I mean they'll be fun to watch at times, but they're not gonna be in contention.
Yep. National League Central. I'll go first on this one. I think it's pretty clear cut in my eyes, anyway. Cubs to win and Milwaukee are my wild card.
Yeah, I mean I can't agree. I can't disagree with those two teams. Might even have them around the other way though. The Brewers were awesome last year, and they haven't done anything to convince me they're not going to be there again. So maybe the other way around for me.
Yeah, it's a tough one with the Brewers, isn't it? I mean, they hardly even count as a surprise pick.
I know,
because they keep trading ace pitchers. They lost Peralta, but
pure data
stepped up. Yeah,
data driven.
I think if I had to pick, I mean, I've already said I think the Pirates could be a surprise wildcard team. I think they could sneak up. But yeah, I mean, realistically, I think it's a coin toss between the Cubs and the Brewers in that division.
Yeah, we all agreed on that one.
Excellent. And last but by no means least, the National League West. Who's not picking the Dodgers?
I'm my wild Colorado Rockies.
Yeah. I mean, this is easy, isn't it? I mean, Dodgers and daylight, really. It's a second team. Who's your second team, really? Maybe the Padres? We haven't talked about the Padres.
No, we haven't talked about the Padres at all, actually.
What's been happening with them, Macca? I mean, I know you've got your ear to the ground at the Padres organization and the Diamondbacks organization. You know people there. What's going on with the Padres?
Yeah,
the best uniform in baseball. I think the Padres. I do like the Padres.
Those lovely brown uniforms.
The Browns,
chocolate
and custard yellow.
Exactly.
They've lost a couple of players, but they've retained the core of their batting lineup with Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado.
They got good hitters.
So they'll be there or thereabouts. I think. I think the Giants and the D-backs might be the surprise teams. I think one of those could end up as the wild card. I'll stick my head out and say Diamondbacks.
I thought you might say
surprise again.
I like them,
especially if they can get Corbin Burns back at some stage.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what the chances of that happening, but I think I would agree with that. I think the D-backs have something in the tank. I feel the Padres are a funny one. I feel a bit like I do about the Phillies, like almost as if they've missed their window.
Mm,
But then you realize actually the Padres are a lot younger than you think. I mean,
yeah.
Machado and Tatis, they're still actually quite
Yeah,
young
they
players.
feel like
Mm.
they've been around forever, don't they? Yeah,
They
but
do, and
yeah.
they also feel like they're tipping past
And
their prime. But
yeah,
they could surprise everybody. Yeah.
they could.
And there have been rumours of Fernando Tatis being on the trade block, which would not surprise me with AJ Preller still in control there.
No, I mean anything goes with him there, right? Yeah.
So
So that's our division winners and wild cards. Who's going to win it all?
oh, easy. Easy. You look, you have to say for me, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it. You have to say the Dodgers just by the pure amount of talent they've got. But if you want to take a punt, I mean, look, I know everyone knows who I support. So, I mean, I would love the Mariners to win their first pennant. So for me, the Mariners, the Mariners. There you go. I've said it. There you go, Mariners.
Yeah, you know what?
Hell
I'm going to
yeah!
pick a I'm going to pick a Mariners Mets World Series,
Wow,
and I honestly think that could be another Game Seven
that
classic.
would be
Could go either
amazing.
way. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be my heart. I would love to see Toronto run it back. I would love to see them, finish the job that they came literally within an inch of doing 3 times in that Game
Now they can
Seven
get
last
stuffed.
year. But yeah,
They
but
made me
no,
cry.
I do think this could be the Mariners' years at the very least to make it to the World Series. I
Oh,
think
God.
I think a Mariners Mets. Yeah, I think the Dodgers are gonna run out of steam. I think
Yes, it'll be lovely.
three times round is tough. Their pitching rotation is fragile. It would only take Yamamoto was unbelievable last year, but if he was even just average, I mean,
But
if he was even just
you just
good,
know at the
they
trade
would have lost
deadline
that
they're
World
gonna.
Series.
You just know at
Well,
the
they're going
trade
to pick up
deadline they'll pick up
everybody.
a couple
Yeah,
of
that's true.
studs, won't they? And it's just
Yeah.
so
They'll
annoying.
probably sign Giolito next week, and he'll turn into a Cy Young
Exactly.
candidate. Yeah,
Precisely.
yeah.
So
But
annoying.
that's my pick for a World Series is
Nice.
Mariners Mets, and I'm going to give the edge to the Mariners just to be on the right side of history.
I'm with Jeremy. This is why we get him on the podcast. This is a beautiful insight. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, well, as you know, my heart says the New York Yankees, but I just don't think they're going to quite climb that mountain. I'm thinking that the Tigers are going to learn their lessons from last year. They've got a really
Yep.
switched on
It's an interesting
manager
thought.
in AJ Hinch, who, as we all know, has cheated before to get a World Series win. He's obviously learned his lesson now, but they've got a really good pitching rotation as well, and it could take them all the way. So I'm going to say it's going to be a Tigers and Cubs World Series.
Ooh,
I really
I'm
think the Cubs could take that extra step
that'd be
this year.
worth watching too.
I'm stretching my mind back, but I have a feeling the Tigers were my out there pick last year. So your turn this year, Ian, and good luck.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
thank you very much. So there we go. We've wrapped up the baseball part of the podcast. Jeremy, we're going to talk a bit about football now. So if you
Great.
want to stay on, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, feel free to clock off and get on with the rest of your day.
What'd you just
Yeah.
tell him to do?
Well,
What'd
look.
Clock off.
No, I'll just throw this in before I go. If you think I'm insane for being an Angels fan, I'm also a Nottingham Forest fan. So I'm going to leave you guys to talk about the football, and we'll see how we go. Yeah.
You poor
All right.
bastard.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy the season, and
Love your
Thanks,
work, mate.
Jeremy.
catch up
Once again,
soon.
some fantastic
Thank you, brother.
content,
No worries,
and
man.
we'll
See you guys.
we'll talk to
Yeah.
you again during the season.
No worries at all.
Cheers,
Just
brother.
working out how to leave.
All good. You just stay there until you work it out.
Okay, so the big news, Aaron, this week.
Yeah, mate.
Mohamed Salah
Yeah.
is
Isn't
going.
it? I don't think it surprised me too much that he was going. What surprised me is the fact that he's got another year on his contract. And when you got another year on your contract, generally in football, they don't terminate like that, do they? They'll say, no, you're either staying here or we're going to get a transfer fee for you. So that surprised me. the fact that we're not. I guess the reason that's happened is because of who he is. It's Mo Salah. The amount of the amount he's done for this club over the last. He's a transformative player over the last
Yeah,
10 years for our club, and I think that they wanted to see him off in a good way. And I'm pretty sure they'll probably put something in the contract or something in the termination agreement to say that he can't go to a UK club. I don't think he's going to end up now in Saudi. I think he'll probably go to Italy. I think he'll probably go back to Italy and play a couple of years there, maybe for Roma again, maybe for some other Italian team, or he might. I mean, this is probably an outside bet. He might go to PSG because they can afford to pay outrageous wages and they seem to like wingers on that. So you have to play in a rotation with all their wingers, but maybe them. But I don't see him being. There has been rumours this morning about Chelsea sniffing around. I just don't think
that's
we'd
not going to
allow
happen.
that. I just don't think we'd allow that, eh?
No.
But it is sad. It's sad to see him go. It's amazing that he's only really been there 9 seasons, mate.
Yeah.
Because when you look at those numbers, they are just phenomenal. There was that post that came out yesterday with all the records, like 30 records before he came, and how they were all with other players, Thierry Henry and Alan Shearer and Harry Kane and Steven Gerrard and all those records. And then after Salah, he owns them all now. So I mean,
Yeah.
what can you say about the guy, mate? He's done it all. It's like don't be sad because because it's over. Be happy because it happened. You know, I think that's the
Yeah.
way we have to look at it, don't we? I mean, when you get as old as us, we've seen so many of our players that we love leave the club, and
Yep.
it is sad. It's always sad because you have such an attachment to them. But I think he's given his best to us, and
Absolutely.
we got the best out of him. So. And those numbers, man, I just never thought, like 10 years ago, if you would have told me we're going to get a player that's going to rival, that's going to get close to even, one of the best goal scorers, best assists, best, all those records, if you'd have told me that we were going to get a guy that's that good, I would have just said bullshit, mate. And
Yeah.
rivaling all those records, no way anyone's going to come close to Stevie G but he
Yep.
did, mate. He did, and he's from overseas as well. Also, he's a Muslim. He did so much for Muslim relations in the UK and in more especially Liverpool itself. I mean, I know he's done a lot for Egypt. He's just and he's a great guy. It sounds like he's a great. He got a bit of shit for putting up a Christmas tree because he's a Muslim, but he didn't care. He spoke out about the genocide going on in Gaza. People gave him shit for that. He didn't care. I just think every time he's arguing something, I think he's on the right side of the argument for me. So he seems like a bloody good guy. I salute you, mate. I mean, I salute
Yeah.
Mohamed Salah.
Talking
What a
about
player.
his contract, it wouldn't surprise me, given that the club's owned by American owners who also run a baseball team,
Mm.
that there was some sort of opt out in there.
Yeah,
We see
probably.
that. We see that it's a common occurrence
Yeah,
in baseball that people will sign 8-year contracts with an opt out clause
plus
after
one.
years
Yeah,
4 and 5
yeah.
or whatever. So that wouldn't surprise me if that's
It could
happened.
have happened. Yeah,
Um, yes, we're not going to get a transfer fee, but we're going to be saving £400,000 a week in
that's true.
salary. So
Yeah,
I think the owners are probably pretty happy to get that off their
absolutely.
books, and whoever they bring in to replace them is probably only going to cost less than half of that. So
That's true.
unless they bring in 2 or 3 people to replace him, which
Could
in
happen.
the likelihood that Chiesa might go and who's in Gakpo. He's talking. Well, there's talk about him going to Bayern Munich.
Yep.
Um, Perhaps we could swap him for Michael Elise.
Oh yeah, I take that every bloody day, mate. Or
Exactly.
there's also talk that Kvaratskhelia may be on the market at the end of the
Mm,
season. I would do everything I could to get him. I mean, honestly,
yes.
that guy's 25 years old. He's still got the best to come. I just think if we snapped him up for 5 or 6 years, he could be the seller.
Yeah.
He just is a phenomenal player. I'd
But
love us to get him.
just getting back to Mo. I mean, the worst season in a Liverpool shirt he's had, apart from this year, obviously,
Yeah,
was 24 goals.
yeah.
That was the worst season.
Oh, mate, he's had a terrible season this year. He still scored more goals and still got more assists than Saka.
Yeah.
And they say that he's better than Salah. It's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. Um, when you look at his legacy, when you look at the numbers he's put up, when you look at the type of player he is, there's only Thierry Henry that rivals him in the Premier League era. Only Thierry Henry, and you might say
Yep.
that Thierry Henry perhaps is a better footballer than Mohamed Salah. But when you go through all the awards and all the numbers, I would actually put Salah in position 1A and I'd put Thierry Henry in position 1B. But you could have them either way. For me,
Yeah,
the numbers are very similar. The awards are very similar. I mean, Salah won a Champions League. Thierry Henry, I mean, he won a few more goal scoring awards, I think. But really, those two are far ahead of just about everyone else.
yeah,
I heard Jamie Carragher. I mean, he said some stupid shit in his time, mate. But he said that Mo Salah wouldn't even be in our top five for Liverpool. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I know you don't like him, but it's just a crazy, crazy thing to say.
yep.
Yeah, no, he has to be top two for me. Top two Premier League player of all time.
Well, here you go. Here's a wee comparison on Henri and Mo Salah.
Yep.
Mo, 323 appearances. Uh, Henri, 258. Mo, 191 goals. Henri, 175. Mo, 93 assists. Henri, 74 assists. Here's the real disparaging one.
Yeah,
Yellow cards. Mo, 11. Probably all 11 for taking his shirt off after scoring a goal.
probably. Yeah.
And Thierry Henry, 30.
Wow.
And neither of them ever got a red card.
Yeah, the
So
thing is with Thierry Henry, though, he started as a winger, but he ended up as a centre forward, and Mo Salah played most of the time out on the left, so I mean out on the right, sorry.
yeah,
So for me, you know, Thierry Henry's always look. They were both great players. It's hard to compare them, but when you go through those stats, they are very similar, aren't they? Mo played a bit longer,
yeah,
scored a few more goals. I mean, they're so similar in numbers wise. Um, but what a legacy, mate! What a player! What can you say? You can't say anything negative. I suppose there was a couple of things. There was the bust up with Jurgen Klopp on the sideline. Look, not everyone wants a hug from Jurgen all the time.
yep,
And then there was the stuff he said about Slot earlier in the thing. And quite frankly, I agreed with him. So, yeah, I can't say anything more than what a player. It was a privilege to watch it over the last nine and a
yep.
half years, mate. Absolute
Just an
privilege.
extra couple of stats. Mohamed Salah, fourth greatest all-time scorer in the Premier League,
Amazing,
behind
mate.
just Shearer, Kane, and Rooney. And
Yep.
he's only 17 behind Rooney.
And he played, I'm sure Rooney, if you compare the stats for Rooney for Man United and the stats for Salah at Liverpool, they're almost about the same amount of games, I think.
Yeah.
And Salah's got him beat all over, mate. He's got him beat
Yes.
assists, goals, everything. So I don't think there's any real comparison. And Rooney played centre forward once again
Yep.
and took penalties all the time. So, I mean,
Mm,
I know Salah's taken a few, but
yeah.
I
He
just
didn't.
think,
He didn't take one very well on Saturday.
oh my God, yeah. But then he scored a great goal,
He
so
did. He did.
he made up for it. Yeah, just a hell of a player. Privileged to see it, mate. Can't say anything more, really, can we?
Yes, quite right. Quite
Yeah.
right.
Oh, and then
International
there was,
break. We all
sorry,
love the
sorry. Can we
international
just bring
break.
up one more
Sorry.
thing? One more
Yep.
thing. John Toshak over the thing with dementia. Heard
Mm.
he's got dementia. That's very, very sad. I've got personal experience with dementia, not myself. I'm sure it's coming. But no, very, very sad. The guy was an absolute colossus, wasn't he? Keegan
Yep.
Toshak. That was the combination up front. Loved that man. He was one of my first, you know, the first time I ever watched football was a Liverpool match with those two playing up front. Absolutely loved those two, and he headed the ball. God, he could head the ball, couldn't he? So
Oh yeah.
I think he's in his late 70s now. It's just very,
He
very
is.
sad that
Yeah.
more and more of these players are sort of being affected by this sort of thing. Just wish him and his family well, really.
Yes. And Kevin Keegan's not so well at the moment. He's
No,
dealing with cancer. So
no, mate. It's
yeah, thoughts
awful.
go out to both
Absolutely.
the 1970s strike partnership, Toshak and
Hmm.
Keegan. So
Yep.
yep, all the players from when we started watching
I
football
know.
are yeah are
I
getting
know,
on
mate.
now.
Yeah, like ourselves. Anyway.
Mm, quite right, quite
Yep.
right.
Yep.
International
International.
break.
Yep.
We all love international breaks, don't we? Not
Love it, mate. Love it. I'm just
the All
looking
Whites have
forward.
got a couple of games in
Yeah,
Auckland.
they do. They do, but they're not going to be as explosive as that Iran New Zealand game in the World Cup if that goes ahead, is it? I mean, that's going to be kind of nuts that we're playing them first. Wow. I mean, the World Cup, mate. I mean, anyway. Let's just, it's
Yeah.
just too much. We could be here forever.
We
Yeah,
could be.
we're playing, we're playing Chile or Peru? Is that right?
Finland tonight, I think,
Yes. And then
and then Chile on Monday.
that's right. Finland. Don't know too many players for Finland. I'd say that'd be quite a good game, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it could very well be.
Yeah.
Sammy Hoopier, of course, came out of Finland, so great
Yep.
Liverpool player. Um,
Absolutely. And
and
Jussi Jääskeläinen
yep, yeah,
and Good Johnson, was he Finnish?
yes, Ida Good Johnson.
Yeah,
He
I had a Good
was
Johnson. Yeah.
he's Finnish. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
He's finished too.
they're
Yeah.
all finished now.
They've all finished now. Most of the players that were finished have finished.
Yep. I guess there are some important games on at the moment, and they are the playoffs for the European World Cup spots.
Yes. Yes. Ireland were
So
playing just a little while ago, weren't they? So
yep,
give us
let's
some
have a
scores for
look at
those.
those. Um, Wales and Bosnia Herzegovina are in extra time, 1-1. Italy beat Northern Ireland 2-0. Poland
Okay.
beat Albania 2-1.
Okay.
Sweden beat Ukraine 3-1.
Oh,
Um,
did Isaac play? Did he get on? Can you see?
he wouldn't have been, no.
I
He's
think
only
he's on the
available.
bench.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't available for
Oh,
Sweden.
okay, good. Good. We didn't make him
Yeah.
available. Good. Okay.
Um,
But they won. That's good for them.
yep. Czechia and Ireland, they're also in extra time. 2-2, and Denmark beat
Ooh.
North Macedonia 4-0. So,
2-2 extra
yeah,
time.
couple of
Oh,
interesting games going on
those
there. And
are interesting.
Jeremy will be celebrating. The Angels have just gone 1-up over um,
Who were they
Houston
playing?
Astros,
Oh,
and it's a
fantastic.
Mike Trout home run.
Oh, see, you heard it here first. See, if you
Yes.
had heard earlier in the podcast and us raving about that guy, you could have rushed off and put some money on him hitting a homer. You
Yep.
never know. Hey, listen here
Quite
first.
right.
Yeah,
Quite
yeah.
right.
Beautiful. Beautiful stuff.
So now the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was
Yes.
the numbers 3 and 0.
3-0,
What
30.
would I be referring to there, Mr. Warriors fan?
3-0. 3-0. Well, 3-0, mate. Unbeaten, top of the table, up the waz. Hey, what a start to the season, mate. What an absolute start to the season. Everyone's absolutely humming along. We can't be beat, mate. We can't be beat. We got players out injured. We got other guys coming in. And the big thing about this tonight's game at Ericsson, well, I still call it Ericsson or Mount Smart Stadium or Go Media or whatever you want to call it, Compassionate Grounds, is that Lukey Metcalf is making a comeback. Absolutely fantastic. He's coming back from that ACL 3 or 4 weeks early. If you had watched the previous podcast a couple of weeks back, I did say he was coming back early. I said round 5. It's round 4. He's back already. And straight into the 5'8 position, which is really interesting. Chanel Harris-Tavita's been out with a bit of an injury, so he's a perfect utility player because he can play in the forwards and the back, so he's great on the bench. But I'm going to be really, really interested to see how Tanner Boyd and Lukey Metcalf team up in the halves. Other than that, we're playing some great football. The big thing with the Warriors, though, is there's so much happening, really. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck has announced that he's leaving next year to go and play league in the UK, which is fantastic for me. I mean, go and play league in the UK, make some more money for yourself. Don't play for another side in Australia. And we're looking at signing Will Warbrick from the Melbourne Storm. Sounds like that's going to be announced very shortly. And that guy is one hell of an athlete, mate.
Yes, heard that news a few days ago that the jungle talk was that he was coming to the Warriors.
He is. Apparently, it's a cool-off
very
period.
good signing.
He's already signed. It's a cool-off period, so they've got to wait a week before they announce that, but that will be announced, and he's a hell of a guy to have on the wing, mate. Kick to him. Tanner Boyd with those pinpoint kicks to him on the wing. You got a 50-50 chance of scoring every time. So, I mean, some good pickups from the Warriors, and I just love the way we're playing football at the moment, mate. It's just so lovely structure. Tanner Boyd just playing out of his skin. And Jackson Ford leading the way with the Dally M's. The guy puts his head where other people wouldn't put their feet, mate. The guy is just Such a tough bastard. He just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. He's Mr. Perpetual Motion. He's Ray Price version 2. I absolutely love the guy. I just love the way that our players are playing, mate. The youth are playing well. There's just not much to complain about, which is very unusual for a Warriors team. So it's, we're top of the table. We got guys coming back. Mitch Barnett I didn't even mention Mitch Barnett made his comeback last week. Came on, took the first hit up. His first offload was for a try. What is going? Nothing's going wrong. It's all just going great. It's just optimistic. A fantastic time to be a Warriors fan, mate. And up the Waz, we're going to win the whole bloody comp this year. We're going to do it. And the Mariners are going to win the World Series. And 26 is going to be finally that year where I can write it all off. Those two teams of mine I've been following for close to 30 years that have never won anything. This is the year. 26, mate. Beautiful.
I noticed Melbourne Storm coach Craig Bellamy's laid the law down to his players this year. He's quoted as saying, skip a key session, give false excuses, put nightlife before the team, then you're done here. You don't represent this club and you won't wear this jersey under me.
Fair enough.
Tough words.
Fair enough. Well, mate, they were 14-0 up against the Broncos at halftime last week, and they ended up losing that one at half. So they lost this very similar fashion in the grand final last year. He is a hell of a taskmaster, though. I mean, because they are a good side, the Melbourne Storm. They always seem like I don't know how who's he referring that to? His whole team?
I don't know.
Have you ever seen Craig Bellamy in the box during a game?
Oh, looks like he's going to have a coronary every day, every game.
And he swears, he kicks chairs, he smashes the window. He's just the most aggressive man you've ever seen in your life. I've seen one there where he's screaming into the guy. I can't remember, his assistant coach had his headset there, and he had the little microphone bit down, and Craig Bellamy was grabbing the bit. Yeah, the guy was like, well, okay, mate, yeah, this is what Craig wants you to know. You better get this down to the sideline.
Yes, he makes Ricky Stewart look like a tepid schoolboy.
He does. The other thing with the NRL, though, is the Panthers, mate. They are looking mean. I don't know whether you saw that Brian Teo try.
Yes, I did.
Oh, mate, that's close. That'll be close to try of the year already. Double chip and chase. You don't see that very often, do you? Used to see it from Phil Blake back in the day. And
Phil Blake.
I always think of Jeff Wilson whenever I see a play like that. He was the best at rugby I've ever seen. But that was just phenomenal, mate. That first little chip and chase through the guy's legs, gets it again, then chips it and goes past Tedesco and skims around everyone and scores again. That was just absolutely class.
Back to the Bellamy comment. When you think back to when we first started watching the likes of rugby and rugby league and all that, and they do a camera shot inside the changing rooms, and there'd be that layer of cigarette smoke hanging just below the roof with the swapper crates in the middle of the floor.
Absolutely, those were the days, mate. Especially after the game. The game, woo!
Come here, Adonicus.
Even at half time, mate, have a cheeky durry. That's right.
Yeah.
It's like, those were the days, mate. Those were the days I used to go down the back of the railway stand at Carlaw Park and hear the coach just hear some fresh new words for a young lad. Whoa, what does that mean, Daddy? Learned a whole new vocabulary.
Quite right.
I used to love the smell and the heat coming out of those changing rooms at halftime. Love it.
The deep heat smell.
Oh, it's lovely. Liniment.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Deep heat.
That's right. Yeah, up the wires.
All right. Oh well, I think that'll do us for today. We'll hopefully be back in. We will be back in a couple of weeks. Whether it's with a new guest to interview. Hopefully, we've sent out a few invites, but so far not heard anything back.
Or covering the whole sporting malaise, we may be doing that.
Quite right.
Feel free to contact us. We'd love to hear from you. Just post a comment in the comments below, and we'll get back to you. We'd love to hear from our listeners and watchers. Subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. Share it. The Hot Air Sports Podcast. We love it. Hope you do too.
Quite right. That's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from him.